Have you ever stopped to think about how we actually know things? I mean, from the latest political polls to why a certain brand is popular, it all comes from information. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the essential tools researchers use to collect all that data.
Yeah, really think about it. Every single study you read, every statistic you see on the news, it all starts with one simple thing. Someone asking a question. But how do they get answers they can actually trust? Well, that's the big question we're diving into today.
So, to get our heads around this, let's kind of put ourselves in the shoes of a researcher. We're going to go on a little journey together and explore the different paths they can take to find answers, along with all the twists and turns each one has.
Okay, our first stop on the journey is probably the most direct method you can imagine, just talking to people. This is the interview, and it's a foundational tool for getting those really deep personal insights.
So, the crucial thing to get here is that an interview is a social interaction. It's a real, dynamic exchange. It doesn't matter if it's in person, on the phone, or over a video call. It's all about that personal contact.
But, it's not as simple as just deciding to do an interview. A good researcher knows you can't just pick a method at random. The choice you make, face-to-face, over the phone, or virtual, is going to totally change the kind of data you get. So let's look at the trade-offs.
This table really lays out the big dilemma. Doing an interview in person is amazing, right? You can read body language, build a real connection, but wow, is it expensive and slow. Phone interviews, they're fast and cheap, but you lose all those visual cues, and you might miss whole groups of people who aren't in the phone book. And online interviews, super convenient. You can talk to anyone, anywhere, but then you're dealing with tech glitches and it can feel a little impersonal.
All right, let's move on. If interviews are all about going deep with a few people, our next tool is about going wide with a whole lot of them. We're talking about surveys. This is how you ask questions at scale.
Now, the most important word on this slide is independently. Think about it. Unlike an interview, there's no researcher there to help out. The person is on their own with the questions, which means the design of that questionnaire has to be absolutely crystal clear.
This is the perfect picture of a double-edged sword. On one hand, online surveys are incredible. You can reach a huge, diverse group of people so fast it'll make your head spin. But on the other hand, you might totally miss people who don't have good internet, you have to worry about fake answers, and a lot of people just won't bother to respond at all.
And this brings us to an absolutely critical point. It honestly doesn't matter if you're doing an interview or a survey. If your question is bad, your data is going to be useless. Simple as that. This is where the real art comes in. Okay, take a look at this question. On the surface, it seems fine, right? Pretty straightforward. But this is a classic trap, a question that is basically doomed from the start. Let's dig into why. Here's the problem. It's asking about two totally separate things, medical payments and hospital tariffs. I mean, what if you're okay with one but not the other? How are you supposed to answer with a simple yes or no? You can't. That answer tells the researcher absolutely nothing useful. They call this a double-barreled question, and it's a huge no-no.
Ah, see the difference? So much better. Just by splitting it into two separate, clean questions, the researcher gets a precise answer for each topic. Clarity is absolutely everything.
So far, we've talked about data that researchers have to actively go out and ask for. But what about the gigantic ocean of data that's just out there, living in the digital wild? This brings us to the newest frontier, social media. The scale here is just staggering. Researchers can tap into this massive, constantly flowing river of conversations and opinions as they happen, organically. It's an unbelievably powerful resource. You can see the appeal, for sure. It's cheap, it's happening right now, and the data is so rich. You get text, images, videos, you name it. For watching trends unfold in real time, it's a goldmine. But, like any goldmine, it can also be pretty risky. And this is the other side of that coin. The data isn't representative of everybody. Plenty of people aren't on social media. Then there are huge privacy concerns, and researchers have almost no control. They can't know for sure if an account is real, and the platforms can just cut off access whenever they want. So after our journey through interviews, surveys, and the digital wilds, what's the big picture? Let's pull everything together into our data collection toolkit.
This right here is the single most important thing to remember. A great researcher isn't someone who just uses one method for everything. They're someone who knows exactly which tool to pull from the toolkit for the specific job they need to do.
This chart basically sums it all up. It's your cheat sheet. Need those rich, detailed stories? Go for interviews, but keep an eye on your budget and potential bias. Need to know what thousands of people think? A survey is your best bet, but triple-check those questions. Want to see what people are talking about right this second? Social media is the place, but you have to be so careful with the privacy and data quality issues.
So, the next time you answer a survey or see a poll on TV, you'll know a little bit about what's going on behind the scenes. You can see how the sausage is made, so to speak. You won't just know what we know, but you'll have a much better idea of how we know it. Now that you've got the toolkit, what are you going to start to question?